See that. So we had done with the de Broglie's dual nature. That's the first approach towards the quantum mechanics. The second approach is Heisenberg's uncertainty principle. Heisenberg's uncertainty principle. Uncertainty principle. What he told in his principle, again I am saying, I already told you that this was just a thought experiment. Thought experiment means it was thought of and then it was applied. Okay, it was not experimented and then applied. There are two types of experiments, thought experiment and real experiment. The real experiments are done in the laboratory first and then it is applied. Thought experiments are thought and then it is applied. Okay, so this is one of the thought experiment. It was applied afterwards to the study of the atomic structure, and it has been found that this is absolutely fine. Okay, till date absolutely fine. So this particular principle is well accepted. Thought experiment is well accepted. What he told is that for a moving particle, if a moving subatomic particle, suppose the electron is moving, okay, in our syllabus only one directional movement is there, so I am taking only one directional movement. Let this electron is moving in the x direction. It's moving in the x direction with velocity v, suppose with velocity v. Okay, suddenly I told you that spot the electron here and tell me what is its position and what is its velocity. Suppose this is 0, x-axis, this is 0, this is x-axis, 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. is going. This is the position, please understand it, then I am trying to tell you that what is the principle. This is the position, you spot the electron and tell me what is the position of it, that it is placed at 5.5 in the x-axis, 5.5 coordinate in the x-axis, and its velocity is suppose 7.9. Okay, whatever, you just calculate, you just tell that, measure that and tell that. When he told, obviously he didn't try this, he thought that no, we cannot do both of this, we cannot measure both of this, we cannot measure the position as well as the velocity accurately and simultaneously. We cannot measure the position and the velocity accurately and simultaneously. Both we cannot measure accurately. There will be some error in it, in the measuring. Okay, suppose you are saying the position is 5.7. Just suppose the position is 5.7, but actually the position is 5.8. So there is the uncertainty, there is the error means uncertainty of 0.1. It is 5.7 you are calculating, but actually it is at 5.8. So there is the uncertainty of 0.1. You are saying the velocity is 30. Suppose the velocity is 30. You are saying you are calculating the velocity at 30. Okay, measuring the velocity at 30 at that position. But actually the velocity may be 29.8. So there is an uncertainty of 0.2. Okay, there is an error of 0.2. That is what he told, that we cannot measure the position and the velocity of a moving subatomic particle simultaneously and accurately. Simultaneously, if I want to measure one of them, we can do it. If we want to measure only position, we can do it. If we want to measure only velocity, we can do it. But we cannot measure accurately the position and the velocity simultaneously. There will be always some amount of uncertainty, and that uncertainty in position was written as delta x, that is in the x direction. Delta x is the uncertainty in position in the x direction. As I told, suppose this is 0.1, whatever value. Okay, the uncertainty is 0.1. You hope you understood what is uncertainty or error. Okay, and the uncertainty in velocity is written as delta v. What he found afterwards, this was his thought experiment, and what he found afterwards is that this product delta x into delta v is greater than equal to h by 4 pi m, h by 4 pi m, okay, where h is Planck's constant, pi all of us know the value, that is 22 by 7, okay, 3.14, and m is nothing but the mass of the subatomic particle, whatever subatomic particle it is. If it is electron, it is the mass of the electron. If it is proton, it is the mass of the proton. If it is neutron, it is the mass of the neutron. Okay, but generally in the atomic structure we talk mainly about the electrons, so here we are going to consider about it as the electrons. So this is the mathematical representation of the Heisenberg's uncertainty principle, that the total uncertainty or the product of the uncertainty of position and velocity will be either equal to or greater than equal to, means that is the least uncertainty, or it will be greater than what value? H by 4 pi m. Whenever we are going to next point, whenever we are going to do any numerical related to Heisenberg's uncertainty principle, we are going to take the least uncertainty. More than that, the uncertainty can be there, but we are going to do with the least uncertainty. That means whenever we are going to do the numericals of any kind, we are going to take the equation as delta x into delta v is equal to, that's the least uncertainty, okay, is equal to h by 4 pi m, okay. But actually the uncertainty can be greater than equal to h by 4 pi m. What is h? We know h is Planck's constant, pi is, what is pi? 22 by 7. What is m? M is mass of the subatomic particle which is moving. Now we will just rearrange this particular equation little bit. If we rearrange this equation, that's delta x into, now this m we are going to get in this side, m into delta v is greater than equal to h by 4 pi. Can I write it? H by 4 pi. Just nothing, we are just rearranging mathematically this one, just to get another term, but that's all. Okay, delta x into m we are taking in this side, m into delta v is greater than equal to h by 4 pi. What is m? M is mass. Mass into velocity is momentum. And mass of the particle is not going to be changed, it is going to be same only. So mass into change in velocity is nothing but the change in momentum. Mass into change in velocity is nothing but the change in momentum. So can we write down this equation also as delta x into delta p? Delta p is change in momentum for the moving subatomic particle is greater than h by 4 pi. Okay, check delta x into delta p is greater than h by 4 pi. So sometimes the uncertainty principle, Heisenberg's uncertainty principle, is also expressed as, also defined as, okay, that for a moving subatomic particle we cannot measure the position and the momentum of the moving subatomic particle simultaneously and accurately. In position of or in place of velocity, sometimes we use the term momentum also, because there is a hardly difference, because momentum and velocity is nothing but one multiplication of mass, and that is not going to be changed. Okay, so these are the two equations, we should say, for the two equations, means one equation only in two different forms of Heisenberg's uncertainty principle. Now first of all you are going to do one numerical, so please write it down. If the accuracy in velocity of an electron, moving with speed of 40 meter per second, if the accuracy in velocity of an electron an electron moving with speed of 40 meter per second, moving with speed of 40 meter per second, 40 meter per second, 40 meter per second, is 99.9%, is 99.9%, comma, what will be its uncertainty in the position? What will be its uncertainty in the position? What will be its uncertainty in the position? I am repeating the question. If the accuracy in the velocity of an electron, if the accuracy in the velocity of an electron moving with speed of 40 meter per second, moving with speed of 40 meter per second, is 99.9%, is 99.9%, comma, what will be its uncertainty in position? What will be its uncertainty in position? Please read the question once. Read the question once. That an electron is moving. An electron is moving, and it is moving with a velocity of 40 meter per second. 40 meter per second. But while calculating or while measuring the velocity, it's coming here, while measuring the velocity at a particular point, we are getting some uncertainty, and that uncertainty is how much? Uncertainty in measuring the velocity is 99.9%. 99.9% is the uncertainty in measuring the velocity. Okay. Now the question is, what is the uncertainty in position? That's the question. Simply, an electron is moving. An electron of mass, the mass of the electron must be known. 9.1 into 10 to the power minus 31 kg of mass of electron is moving with a speed of 40 meter per second. We are trying to detect the mass and position, and according to the Heisenberg's uncertainty principle, we cannot do so simultaneously. We simply cannot do so simultaneously and accurately. While doing so, we are getting an inaccuracy of 0.1%. That means we are getting it with accurate value of 99.9%. Okay, what is the uncertainty in position? So first, we have to find out what is the uncertainty in velocity. Uncertainty in velocity. Velocity is expected to be 40 meter per second, but we are getting the velocity with accuracy of 99.9%. That means what is the uncertainty? If accuracy is 99.9%, the accuracy is 100 minus 99.9%. That is equal to 0.1% is the uncertainty. Uncertainty is how much? If the accuracy is 99.9%, the uncertainty is 0.1%. So what is the uncertainty in the velocity? It's the velocity 40 into 0.1%. That much is the 0.1% of 40 is the uncertainty in velocity. Simple question, very simple question. Please try to understand that, but that's all. The accuracy is given. So obviously if we know the accuracy, we know the uncertainty. Accuracy is not 100%. That means there is some uncertainty. How much is the uncertainty? The uncertainty is 100 minus 99.9, that is nothing but 0.1% is the uncertainty. Its velocity is told to be 40 meter per second. So what is the uncertainty in velocity? It's nothing but 0.1% of 40. Okay, 0.1% of 40 is the uncertainty in velocity. That is equal to how much? That is equal to 40 into 0.1 divided by 100. 0.1 by 100 means 0.1%. Now just calculate it, how much you are getting. So this is 1 into 10, I mean this is what, 10 to the power minus 1, 10 to the power minus 1 divided by 10 to the power minus 2. So that is 10. So how much is the uncertainty in velocity? Just tell me. It's, what is the uncertainty in velocity? This is 0.4 divided by 100, right? 0.004. 0.004 meter per second is the uncertainty in velocity. This is 4, sorry. This is 0.04, right? 0.04 meter per second is the uncertainty in velocity. 0.04. This is how much? 4. 40 into 0.1 is 4. 4 divided by 100. 4 divided by 100 means how much? 0.04. 0.04 meter per second is the uncertainty in velocity. What you have to find out? You have to find out uncertainty in position. You have to find out uncertainty in position. Okay. So what do we know? Delta x into delta v is equal to, as I told, we are going to take the least uncertainty, is equal to h by pi m. H by pi m. We know it or not? Okay. We know the value of delta v. What is delta v? Delta v is 0.04. So we have to find out delta x into 0.04 equal to, we know the value of h. What is the value of h? 6.625, that's Planck's constant, into 10 to the power minus 34 divided by, this is 3.14, pi is 3.14, into m is how much? 9.1 into 10 to the power minus 31 kg. Okay, so can we find out delta x? Everything is given in SI units, so you don't have any issues. So you can find out the value of delta x, and that delta x will come in meter. Now don't tell me that sir you do the calculation. Hopefully you can do the calculation. This multiplication division all of you can do hopefully. Okay. So it is 6.625. You understood that? The given is what? Given is how much accuracy of the position is. No, whenever we know the accuracy, we know the uncertainty too. Okay. If we know the accuracy percentage, we know what is the uncertainty. So we know the uncertainty in velocity. We have to find out the uncertainty in position, and we know Heisenberg's uncertainty principle and the equation, and from there we can very easily get the uncertainty in position. Okay, please complete the problem, and similar kind of problem you can find in many books. I am not going to refer any book now. Okay, you can buy according to your wish only. Okay, but our textbook will be NCERT. Our textbook will be NCERT. There also you are going to get many problems related to that. So please try to solve the problems. If you cannot do, then please note it down. Okay, whenever we are going to meet, we are going to do it. Okay, fine. So that's Heisenberg's uncertainty principle. Again, physically you must think what does it say, so that we can move ahead. What does it say? That the position and the velocity of a moving subatomic particle cannot be measured accurately and simultaneously. A very, very important concept. Okay, to nullify the Bohr's theory. To nullify the Bohr's theory, this is a very, very important concept. How? Okay, now what is the next thing is, what is the significance of uncertainty principle? What is the significance of uncertainty principle? Heisenberg's uncertainty principle. What Bohr said, please understand it. What Bohr said, that there is a nucleus, and there are some definite circular paths which are called orbits. There are some definite circular paths which are called orbits, and in that orbits the electrons are moving. All the electrons are moving. Okay. Now tell me, suppose I am here at this moment. Please understand it. I am here at this moment. Okay. This is the position, suppose x equal to 10, and I am moving in the x-axis. Suppose with a velocity of 10 km per hour. 10 km per hour. So if I ask you that after 1 hour where will be I, you can very easily identify me, very easily track me. That is called tracking, right? Okay, very easily you can track me. I am moving with a velocity of 10 km per hour. You know my velocity. you know my position, now. If I ask you after 1 hour where I will be, you can very easily say, sir, after 1 hour you will be 10 kilometers away from this position in this direction. Okay, but if you don't know any one of this, you don't know where am I, can you tell me where you don't know where am I accurately. Okay, can you track me? Can you tell me that sir is there at this particular moment, sir is there at this particular moment? You cannot do. Or if you know my position but don't know my velocity, can you track me? You can't track me. Same way, exactly same way, we know according to Heisenberg's uncertainty principle, please understand it, according to Heisenberg's uncertainty principle, we cannot measure the velocity and the position of an electron simultaneously and accurately. So can I track an electron? We simply cannot track an electron, cannot track the path of an electron according to the Heisenberg's uncertainty principle. So whatever was the concept of this orbital, that has gone, simply gone. Okay, because we cannot say that it is moving in this path or that path or the other path in a particular circular path with this velocity. We cannot say this because it's uncertain. What is uncertain? To find out the position and the velocity of a moving subatomic particle is uncertain. So the Bohr's orbit, the concept of Bohr's orbit is nullified here only. Here comes the quantum mechanical approach. Here comes, that's the significance of Heisenberg's uncertainty principle. That's the end of Bohr's era. That's the end of Bohr's era. That Bohr's concept is gone at that particular time only. Okay. Hence comes the quantum mechanical approach. Now, as I told, quantum mechanical approach or quantum mechanics or quantum mechanical approach is a big thing, is a very big thing, very big thing. Okay. So what we are going to do is just we are going to touch it, we are going to basically we are going to know and we are going to use it. That is more important for us. Whenever you are doing the higher studies, you are going to do with quantum mechanics a lot. Okay, you can understand that how big is it. I'm just telling it, then you can understand that this quantum mechanical approach was big. I'm just telling it in very short. You may note it down also. I'm telling it slowly. You may note it down also. The quantum mechanical approach begins with an equation proposed by Schrödinger. An equation proposed by Schrödinger. And the equation is H hat psi equal to E psi. H hat or H cap, we call it, psi equal to E psi. Where, just note it down, where H hat, this one, H hat is called Hamiltonian operator, which is a mathematical operator. Okay, now what is mathematical operator? Suppose if I write 2, you understand what did I write. If I write 3, you understand what did I write. But if I write this in between them, then we are mathematically operating on 2 and 3, and we are getting some value, right? And that is 5. So this positive or this addition is a kind of, or is one type of mathematical operation which we are operating mathematically on certain digits. Exactly like that, a Hamiltonian operator is also a mathematical operator, but as I told, that quantum mechanics is a very complicated mathematical science. Okay, this is a very complicated mathematical operator. Okay, here, so I am not going into the detail of that, which contains the double differentiation, with respect to all three coordinates, that much I can tell you. Double differentiation with respect to all three coordinates. Next is, only thing you don't have to know that also, you have to know only what is what. Psi, this is called psi. Psi is called wave function. Wave function. Wave function. Psi is known as wave function. Okay. E is called eigenfunction. EIGEN. These are all German names. German scientists who did it. Eigenfunction. E is called eigenfunction. Now this is the equation. This is a equation, you know, chemical equation. Mathematical equation. As I told, a very complicated mathematical equation. Suppose if I ask you, just suppose, please understand it. Just for your understanding, I am telling you. Suppose I have written an equation x squared equal to 25, and if I ask you what is the value of x, most of you will say 5. Some of you will say it is plus minus 5. So it might have two values. It's a quadratic equation. It will have two values, either plus 5 or minus 5. Now I said that x actually is the age of a child. If x is age of a child, mathematically x's value can be plus 5 or minus 5. But physically, the value of x cannot be minus 5. It has to be plus 5. So out of plus 5 and minus 5 value is not taken or not considered, as it is physically not possible. So out of plus 5 and minus 5, only plus 5 value is considered because it's the age of a child. Exactly like that, if we solve this equation h hat psi equal to e psi, where actually psi is the unknown. Psi is the unknown factor. There x was the unknown factor. Here psi, the wave function, is the unknown factor. Now let me just tell you, we had done it in our masters, this equation solve of Schrodinger equation. It needs 31 pages. To solve this equation, it needs 31 pages. I told it's a very complicated mathematics. Very complicated mathematics. So after that 31 pages deduction, what we got a number of values of psi. I'm just telling you the very basic thing. A number of values of psi we got. Okay. Out of all these values of psi, only few are accepted. Others are imaginary. They are not physically possible. As I told, x's value can be plus 5 or minus 5, but if it is age of a kid, then obviously the minus 5 value is not accepted, only the plus 5 value is accepted. Exactly the similar manner, the psi, after solving the Schrodinger wave equation, we can have a number of values of psi. But out of that, only very few values are accepted. Those accepted values are called accepted values. Hope you are noting it down. The accepted values of psi are called the eigenvalues. Okay, fine. So we got the value of psi. Now what we will do with the value of psi? Fine, we solved the equation, 31 pages, we got the value of psi. From there we took the accepted values of psi, which are eigenvalues. Now what we will do with these values? What is the significance of psi? Significance क्या है इसका? What is the significance of psi? Next point, that significance of psi. Okay, so this is Schrodinger wave equation, the small part, actually just the basic of it, we just touched it and we went. Okay, so what is the significance of psi? Significance of psi. We got the value of psi, fine. Now what is the significance of it? Psi as such does not have any significance. First point. As such, psi does not have any significance. No significance of psi. Then why do we calculate so much? Okay, but its square, that is psi square, mod of psi square has a lot of significance. Mod of psi square. Okay, so obviously mod of psi square we can get only from the value of psi only. If we know the value of psi, then only we can get the value of psi square. Psi square has a lot of significance. So what does it say? What does it say for an electron? What does it say for an electron? This wave function psi is for one electron, okay? And what does it say for that electron? That surrounding the nucleus, please understand it, surrounding the nucleus, where the electron, we know now that the electron can be tracked. Where exactly the electron will be there, we cannot say it, okay? Psi square says that where you may find the electron to maximum probability. For example, about myself, I am talking of myself. If the situation is normal, this is my house. Now somebody at 4 o'clock comes and asks that sir is where is sir, or where is the probability of thinking, where is sir? So sir might be somewhere in this range only, in the Siliguri only, either at home or at school or somewhere or here or in the market somewhere, okay, but within the range, that is the maximum probability of finding me, okay. So it's a space where the maximum probability of finding me. But that does not mean that I won't be in Bombay or I won't be in Chennai. I might go there also, okay, fine. But what is the max? But that is very minimum. The probability is very minimum. The maximum probability of finding me is where? In this zone only. This particular zone is called orbit of mine, orbit of me. Exactly the same is applicable for electron. So what is an orbit? Now the concept of orbits is completely changed, and it is told by psi square. Psi square has the significance of this. It says that surrounding the nucleus, nucleus तो है nucleus के जगह में, surrounding the nucleus where the probability of finding the electron is maximum. The space surrounding the nucleus where the electron may be here, maybe here, maybe here, maybe here, maybe here, anywhere. The electron can be anywhere within this space, okay. That is the maximum probability to get the electron within this space. That does not mean the electron can't be here. Electron can be here also. Electron can be here also. Electron can be somewhere outside the space also, okay. But the probability of it is very less, okay. This space where the probability is maximum, the space where the probability, I draw it like a circle, but it might have any shape. We'll come to that slowly, okay. It might have some different shapes also, okay. But wherever is the probability is maximum, that is called what? That is called orbit. So what is an orbit? It's the space surrounding the nucleus of an atom. It's the space surrounding the nucleus of an atom where the probability of finding the electron, is maximum, and that is given by what? Or that is, we can find it by the value of psi square, and that is the significance of psi. Psi does not have its significance as such. Psi does not have any significance, but its square has got the significance. Its square or modulus of its square tells us about what? Tells us about the space surrounding the nucleus, of an atom, obviously, where the probability of finding the electron is maximum. So the time is up already. So till the orbit concept we had come to know. Now we will move on Monday. After that, beyond that, where we will study some quantum numbers, and finally we will come to know about the structure of atoms in 3-4 days time. Okay, finally the modern concept of atoms in 3-4 days time. Thank you so much. So this is all about it for today. Yes.
Space surrounding